Hey, what's up everybody? I got a brand new Strand build for you. This might be like the first Strand build I've ever done on this channel. Anyways, look, we're on Warlock, meaning we're on Broodweaver. We're going to be focusing on our Threadlings. How much? Yes, that's the answer. So we're going to be making Tangles, we're going to be making Threadlings, and we're going to be dealing a lot of damage, and of course, applying a lot of Unravel. Some of my favorite debuffs. Anyways, let's just get into this. So for our exotics, we're going to be using, of course, we'll be using Swarmers, which do a lot of things in this build. So if you don't know what Swarmers does, exotic boots meant for Strand Warlock. Threadlings spawn from Tangles, and Threadlings will unravel targets. That is a great ability for this build. It picks up multiple aspects of this build and really makes it all one cohesive idea. So exotic weapon, we'll be using Quicksilver Storm, which is a strand auto rifle if you have the catalyst, and the grenade launcher kills can make tangles, which give you more threadlings. And also this thing is really good at applying unravel if you have unraveling rounds. If you need it to be overload, it can be overload. It can be anti-barrier if you need it to be anti-barrier. It's just kind of up to you with unraveling rounds, which one you need more. So let's talk about our subclass and how we're going to set that up. So kind of unusual. I know these aren't the normal aspects a lot of people use, but I'm going ahead and using Weaver's Call. Every time we make a rift, we get threadlings. Said threadlings will unravel targets, which will make more threadlings as we get further into this build. But then we're using the Wanderer, and I know it's not the most popular pick, but we do suspend with our Tangles. Our Tangles will also make Threadlings. And Threadling Final Blows can make Tangles. So it's just a cyclical thing. Plus we get Suspend in here so we can deal with unstoppable champions way easier, and barrier champions really too. So yeah, the Wanderer is a great aspect. It gives you 2 fragment slots, access to suspend, access to threadlings, and access to tangles, which is great. So moving on to our fragments, we'll have Thread of Rebirth, which gives us more threadlings on strand weapon final blows, so our Quicksilver Storm is even better. Thread of Generation for more grenades. I'm using Grapple here. It's just better in a lot of situations than most other grenades on strand. You may want to use threadling grenades. They'd be great for this build. Then go ahead, use Thread of Isolation, which rapid precision hits will sever targets. That's just to help you survive more. And Thread of Warding, so you can get Woven Mail on Orb Pickup. And of course there is wiggle room with these fragments. They're not super set in stone. Use whatever you want to use here. This is just what I want to do. Of course Thread of Isolation is probably the most replaceable, or Thread of Generation. Our grenade really doesn't do a whole lot for this build, so you could go ahead and use Thread of Wisdom or something like that. Thread of Finality wouldn't be bad in this build at all. But Thread of Isolation is great here, basically because Sever is a very good keyword to apply to enemies, so you don't take as much damage. So, moving on to our artifact. Not that many perks in here matter that much. Register your champion mods however you want. From Whence You Came is just great to have no matter what. Torch would be great for this build, being that we're applying a ton of strand debuffs. So if we have an ally that can make us radiant, or we're using a, I don't know, Solar Trace Rifle, Solar Sniper, something that can hit precision hits to proc radiant, that could be very valuable for us to get even more damage. Which into being wouldn't be too bad, but the main things we'll want are Unraveling Orbs and Horde Shuttle. Picking up an Orb of Power will make us have Unraveling Rounds. Very strong perk. Then Horde Shuttle. Damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a Threadling. With the Swarmers, said Threadlings will make more things unravel. So we can just make a whole room unraveled. So every time we shoot something, there's a decent chance we're making a Threadling to deal a lot more damage. And then Dragon's Bite, it's pretty good. Chances to spend things on breaking shields. Of course, higher chance if you have Season of the Wish armor. And then just kind of fill out things to best suit your situation. Argent Ordnance wouldn't be bad. Solo op, if you're solo, of course, would be a fantastic option for you. But yeah, that's how I set up my artifact and my armor mods now. Of course, you can place things where you need for stats. Of course, resilience, #1 stat all the time, always. But I'm just going to go over the main points in each piece of armor. For your helmet, you want Harmonic Siphon. So Quicksilver Storm will, make orbs for you that you can pick up, get Woven Mail, get Unraveling Rounds, and start the combo from there. Then your gauntlets, heavy-handed. I just put 2 in there. Quicksilver Storm has a pretty good reload speed to start with, so loaders aren't a huge factor here. But with double heavy-handed, bigger orbs more often from our melees, which you throw a melee out, you unravel a target, starting the combo from there. And you get 3 of them, so you can just chain melees, and you get them back pretty quick to get a mass amount of orbs to get Unraveling Rounds and Woven Mail. Woven Mail's huge. Chest piece, do whatever resistances you need. Concussive Dampener, always great. Melee resistance, great. Sniper resistance, great. Those are just, some of the best perks in the game. For your legs, match your Surge with whatever your heavy is. I had an Arc Heavy, so I use an Arc Surge. And then you'll want Recuperation, of course, to get health back on orb pickup. Invigoration wouldn't be too bad to get your melees more often. Class ability, Reaper will be very good for you, especially if you are using Weaver's Call. Proximity Ward will make finishers safer, so Threat of Finality would be way better with Proximity Ward, of course. Then Outreach is just, you get some more melee energy. So that's how I settled my armor mods. For your energy slot and your power slot, use whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm using a good old Cartesian coordinate in my energy slot and a Crux Termination 4 in my heavy slot. Both excellent options. Go ahead, use what you're comfortable with. Rocket launchers are really good this season, so you may want one of those in your heavy slot. Special slot, you could kind of put anything there, honestly. It doesn't matter too much. If you got a rocket launcher, you got Overload, Quicksilver Storm. You could just take off the Overload from the artifact and you have anti-barrier right there, so you may want to fill in some unstop, but we have that with our Tangles. So you kind of can play around with it a little bit here and there, but that's essentially my new Strand build that I'm really, really liking. And I thought I'd share it with you guys, see how you feel about it. And if you have any builds that you want me to try out and maybe show off on this channel, just drop them down below and I'll look into it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.